A storm is brewing in the NBA. We have superstars wanting off of their long-standing teams. This might be one of the biggest shakeups in the NBA we've ever had during just one summer. So where are these superstars going to go? Let's take a look at a few of the big names, starting off with LeBron James, ESPN's favorite, LeBron and the Lakers. What are they going to do? I think they're going to try to get a center, because obviously last year they traded for Luka and they quickly found out that the team wasn't built for him. He needs a lob threat. He needs someone to shore up the defense a little bit. So here's a trade that I think would work out for all of the teams involved. My idea is for a 3-team trade between the Kings, Lakers, and Heat, where Andrew Wiggins and Austin Reeves would go to the Kings, Sabonis would go to the Lakers, and DeMar DeRozan to the Miami Heat. I think this trade works for everybody. The Sacramento Kings obviously want to move on after De'Aaron Fox and try to start over, but still stay competitive. This does that for them. Austin Reeves is an up-and-comer. Andrew Wiggins still is kind of like, we don't know exactly what he's going to be. He's good, but is he great? Maybe we'll find out. And these contracts are a little bit shorter, so they have a little bit more flexibility. That is a good thing for the Kings. The Lakers get the big guy that Luka definitely needs, and Miami gets DeMar DeRozan, and don't sleep on DeMar. People forget just how stinking great DeMar DeRozan is. We saw it in San Antonio. We've seen it in Sacramento over and over again. One of the most clutch players of all time, and can't you already just see him in a Miami jersey? It just fits. He has the ethos for it. He would just fit right in under Pat Riley, and I think would be a great addition for a team that's still trying to stay competitive. So I think that would really work. Next is the big one. Okay, we got the biggest fish out there, Giannis Antetokounmpo. While every team is going to be lined up with their best deal, I really don't see one that Giannis would want, because he's already mentioned that he wants to stay in the East. So that really limits things. Like, you only have a few teams in the East with the flexibility to be able to get Giannis. Everyone's talking about Brooklyn, but I don't think that they have enough young talent that's going to be something that Milwaukee will be looking for. You have Cleveland. Obviously, they need to do some changes there, but the only way they'd be able to really work out a trade is if they're willing to trade Evan Mobley, which honestly, I don't see that happening. I think that they're going to try to work around the edges. So the real option in the East is actually Toronto. I know, once again, I might be showing my bias a little bit, but we already know that Masai, Toronto's president, has often looked at Giannis in the past. He wanted to draft him. It didn't work out. He loves Giannis, and I think he's going to do whatever it takes to try and get in the mix, at least, to be able to get him. So here's a trade that I think could actually happen. Just a straight up trade between the Raptors and Bucks, where Giannis goes to Toronto and RJ Barrett, who's coming off of his best season yet. You throw in Jakob and Grady Dick, who had a great season last year, put in some draft picks, and that might be a package that is alluring for Milwaukee to be able to build on great young talent. Obviously, they're going to try their best to get Scotty Barnes, but I do think that RJ Barrett is way better than people give him credit for, and I think a lot of the GMs know. So maybe John Horst would be all right with getting someone like him, but there is also the option of being able to switch that name out for Brandon Ingram. We'll see what Milwaukee is going to want to do, but I do think that this is something to look at. I know a lot of people, they often just throw Toronto to the side and pretend that it doesn't exist in the NBA.
I thought I told you, buddy. Nobody wants you around.
But Masai has shown before he is willing to do whatever it takes to get what he needs to try and get that Larry O.B. And obviously the other big name on the market officially, basically, because Phoenix has kind of alluded to the fact that he's going to want out, is Kevin Durant. Where is Kevin Durant going to go? I think it's pretty clear that Houston wants him. They want him real bad. They've talked about how they don't want Devin Booker anymore because they got Jalen Green, but we all know that they really want Kevin Durant. And I don't know how it's going to get done. This is the closest that I could get to a trade that looks like it's close to being worked out, but somehow, some way, some third team is going to get added, maybe a fourth team. I think it's pretty clear they're willing to do whatever it takes to be able to acquire Kevin Durant. Next up is Trey Young. Now that Luka's been traded, we know that Trey is on his way somewhere, and I think the place where he's going to end up is the Orlando Magic. They need a point guard so stinking bad. It became so abundantly clear. Even though their big guys played so well in that first round, they definitely showed that they need a point guard. And Trae could fit perfectly onto that team. So it's really about what Orlando's going to have to do to make that happen, in my opinion. Now, the first way that they could do that is a straight up trade. And I don't know if Atlanta will go for this. That's the reason why I think that there's probably another option here. But they might be able to get it done with Isaac, Anthony Black, and DeSalva. And I think that that could be a package that would be alluring enough, especially if Trey Young makes it uncomfortable. We're seeing that so often now where superstars just put that much pressure to try to get their team to trade them to the team of their choosing. They want to pick their destination. If Trey does that, then this could probably work, but most likely it's going to have to be a little bit different of a deal. So that leads me to this crazy Eastern Conference trade that I think might actually be closer to reality than you might think. I think that Boston, having lost now, and now with Jason Tatum out, they're going to have to figure out a lot of things, especially financially, for what they're going to do as an organization moving forward, especially under new ownership. So I'm saying that Jaylen Brown is going to get traded to Atlanta. Boston is going to get Jason Isaac and Jalen Suggs, and Orlando would get Trey Young and Grady Dick, at least in this one. We've seen how much Jaylen Brown really cares for Atlanta. I think that might be something that's factoring into a decision, but obviously Trey wants out. So what can we get back? And I think that this is probably the best package for each one of these teams, that they'd be able to get that talent back, be able to start over, or be able to push forward. And I think that these are the kinds of trades that might happen this year. Usually these are just crazy, but I think this is going to be a crazy summer. So maybe this might be one of the more tame trades. Here's one that I think would be just absolutely nuts, but also it might actually happen, and that's the Zion Williamson trade. Obviously, Brooklyn wants a huge star, and we've known that Zion actually wants to be in a big market, so I think this actually fits really well. So Zion Williamson going to the Brooklyn Nets, and to be able to work out all the money, I've added a third team here of Chicago, where Nick Claxton will be going, and the Pelicans obviously getting Cam Johnson, Lonzo Ball, Noah Clowney, Keon Johnson, some great young talent to be able to start over, pair with Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, even the veteran CJ McCollum. It's actually not that bad of a team, so I think that works out for both teams. And here's another one that I think is a great swap once you think about it. Ja Morant, the other guy. We got Zion, number 1 pick. We got Ja, the 2nd pick. And Ja has obviously had some trouble in Memphis lately, and I see him going to Portland in just a straight up swap. Anthony Simons is a young player that doesn't get talked about enough. He's put up big numbers, but he's been limited by just how bad this Portland team has been. And I think that he would be a great fit in. If you're going to get rid of Ja, he could do a lot of the things that Ja can do, but he's also, I think, a better true point guard. Not a better player, but a better point guard. And I think that's actually what someone like Bane and Jackson need on that Memphis squad. So I think he could fit in and do a lot of the things that Ja did, but also do some of the things that Ja wasn't able to do. And then Ja would be able to be Ja. And Portland doesn't have an identity right now, so they could just have an identity of Ja Morant. And I think it would work for Portland, and I think fans would be pretty excited about that. So I could definitely see this trade happening. Well, that's what I think. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. Do you like these trades? What are some of the trade ideas that you've come up with? I would love to read those and interact with them in the comment section. Hit the like button if you like this kind of content. Sub if you're new, and I will see you in the next one.